Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube is a landmark competitive title, featuring insane movement, unforgettable combos, and mind-blowing interplay. But there's a problem. It's also really hard.
Yeah, look at this. Oh!
When you first get into Melee, it's magical seeing like aMSa and Mango calm the living daylights out of each other. You pick up Melee, it's fun to learn the wave dash, but you can't do anything they did.
SSBM is a fighting game where pulling off simple combos can take hours of hard work thanks to the game's notoriously high skill floor and ceiling. However, if you want to feel like a pro without putting in the effort, there is a workaround. Jigglypuff. Just kidding, I meant to say Giant Melee. I mean, Jigglypuff's kind of hard. This video is about Giant Melee.
Melee with training wheels is Giant Melee.
Ooh, okay. You got those? Oh, you're sick. Oh my. Yeah.
In the year 1999, the great Masahiro Sakurai single-handedly with his own blood, sweat, and tears created the video game Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. And in that game, there is a single-player mode, containing a sequence of battles and minigames, many of which feature their own unique gimmick. The sixth stage of this single-player mode is a battle against Giant Donkey Kong, a giant version of the character Donkey Kong. This would be the debut of a property in Smash Bros. Known as Giant. Fast forward to 2001, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, the title's GameCube successor, would take this embiggened ape and run with it, in part by introducing the Super Mushroom, an item that made characters who ingested it giant. This game would also, under its new slate of special Melee modes, include a multiplayer format known as Giant Melee, where characters would be, by default, in this giant form. One thing that's pretty fun about Giant Melee is that when you play it, Super Mushrooms still work. And if you ingest a Super Mushroom while you're already giant, you become absolutely massive. This is of course an intended feature, and the final page of Melee's manual actually suggests that you do this, recommending a rule set it calls Super Giant Melee, a custom game mode played by turning off all items but Super Mushrooms and playing in Giant Melee at the same time. On the footer of this page, the manual poses a question to the reader. Can you think of other ways to play? In the coming years, a hardcore conglomerate of Melee players would do just that, as they began to cultivate the game's first ever competitive rule sets. Soon, items like the Super Mushroom would be out, and 4 stocks Fox-only Final Destination would be in. But this singles rule set would exist alongside an entire culture's worth of formats like Melee Doubles, Crew Battles, and Ironmans. In time, competitive players would even start to investigate Melee's stranger side modes. Cactuar Stamina Pancake would mix random character and stage selections with the only mode of the game where characters have hit points instead of damage percentages. Some tournaments looking for an easy side event would even start exploring the potential of Super Sudden Death mode. Naturally, in time, players would even begin to experiment then with the competitive potential of Giant Melee.
The first tournament that I am aware of that ran Giant Melee in modern Melee history was the original 2014 Smash the Record, which I believe it was Raging Cherry that ran this, and at the time, it was a marathon tournament, so they kept the stream on the entire time. Yeah, they ran a bunch of side events. Giant Melee was one of them.
Smash the Record's Giant Melee event would not lead to a revival of the mode in competitive play. But years later, competitive players would decide to give the mode a more serious shot. This process would begin in 2019, when New Jersey clip monster Acidics was looking for a way to spice up a recurring stream format.
Acidics runs on his stream, he would run CPU tournament battles.
No, my God. Oh my God, it's crazy!
And one day, in November 2019, he had the idea of running Giant Melee CPU battles and seeing how the Giant Melee meta would progress based on what these CPUs did.
These CPU battles would, in time, transition into online and offline Giant Melee play sessions between Acidics and fellow New Jersey players Justin Dark Gen X Cohen and Miffy. With all 3 players being capable Melee competitors, the gameplay implications of Giant Melee would soon be explored.
has the clutch factor.
So what does it mean to become big? According to the Super Mushroom trophy from Melee, ingesting a Super Mushroom will increase a character's size, strength, and mass, making it harder for players under the mushroom's effects to be knocked off stage or into blast zones. But that's a kind of vague description of what being giant really means. Not to mention the gameplay implications when two players both become giant. According to Smash Wiki, in Melee, giant characters are 1.7 times larger in size and 1.6 times heavier. Their attacks, however, are 1.2 times stronger. Giant characters also take less knockback from attacks, although they will still be put into hit stun by strong moves. Movement for giant characters is for the most part adjusted in proportion to character size. Characters who jump while giant will all land after the same amount of frames as if they were at their regular size. This is in part because giant characters also have increased fall speeds. The changes that come to a character when they become giant are not all positive, however. While some moves are scaled around characters' increased sizes, recovery moves for the most part are not in Giant Melee. Giant characters will also suffer from increased jump squat, the time spent waiting before leaving the ground when executing a jump. And they also suffer from increased landing lag, the time spent while landing on the ground when a player is not yet actionable. With the power of attack scaled up at a lower percentage than characters' weight, and with fall speeds also increased in this mode, New Jersey players soon found that some of the fundamental assumptions between mini Melee matchups simply no longer applied in Giant Melee. Most obviously, these implications would be seen in the way Giant Melee impacted characters' combo games.
I think Pipsqueak made a tweet about it where it was like everyone just has an Armada level punish game in Giant Melee.
So how do all these mechanics alter Melee's metagame when you put them all together? Well, according to Giant Melee Understander YCZ, a high-level Melee Samus player who I consulted for this section, Giant Melee's higher fall speeds and lower knockback makes floaties easier to combo, fast fallers easier to gimp, and moves that kill off the top generally worse. Longer jump squat and landing lag nerfs characters that have to jump and land a lot, but it buffs characters that can either stay grounded or stay in the air. Finally, stages are smaller relative to character size, and platforms and recovery play very differently. Put all of these aspects together, and you find that all of them benefit a single character. A lot.
The thing about Giant Melee is people ask, who's good in Giant Melee? And my answer I like to give is whoever you think it is. And then it's like Peach? Yeah, it's Peach.
Yeah. This is Peach's best stage.
Oh.
What a busted character. Alright. First of all, Peach is absurdly broken. Her down smash invalidates almost the entire cast. It is your get out of anything option. It's your panic option. You can punish it, but a lot of characters don't really have very lengthy punishes on it, so you can actually just get away with spamming it. So you could literally zero to death characters and tech chase them off of a single down smash.
And it's not even just down smash. Peach is a very amazing character. Because something Peach will struggle with in vanilla Melee is catching up to certain characters because she is slow. She does have float for aerial drift, but even that might still have problems like catching up to aerial characters like Puff. But then Giant Melee, where's your opponent gonna run to? They don't really have a place to run to. No.
Armed with a down smash that was likely the format's greatest move, Peach would easily establish herself as Giant Melee's only top tier. But other characters would soon position themselves as challengers to her throne. Giant Marth could chain grab Peach in early percents with his forward throw, as well as utilize the increased reach of his sword to control the stage and the air. Sheik's strong tilt game similarly gave her an easy way to control the stage, and those able to utilize Sheik's boost grab found that they could also, in some cases, grab opponents from all the way across the map. Once they got a grab, they could take advantage of the character's well-known reaction tech chase and combo games. The beloved bird Falco would also find benefits from Giant Melee's easier combo game and smaller platforms relative to character size, allowing him to use pillar combos and edge cancels to their full potential.
You can also shine off the top in Giant Melee with Falco very easily on some characters, like that.
Falco has a very good chain grab by just down throwing, and some characters cannot tech his down throw. I don't know why, but sometimes it can't.
These high tiers, as well as characters like Jigglypuff, Game & Watch, Luigi, and the Ice Climbers, would all also show a lot of potential in Giant Melee going into 2020. And Dark Gen X, Miffy, Acidics, and others would continue to explore this strange side mode as Melee's quarantine era put an end to in-person events for quite some time. In June of 2020, Melee would receive online rollback netcode via Project Slippy, a boon for the greater Melee community, but a setback of sorts for Giant Melee, which could not be played through this new online client. By 2021, however, Dark Gen X would commission a Melee modder to create a code that would allow Giant Melee to be played in Project Slippy. And from there, it wasn't long before an opportunity would come up to showcase the mode before a wider Melee audience.
Giant Melee got its chance in the spotlight at the Alston Melee Bender, which was a Netplay regional. Alston Melee being the Alston Melee podcast. 4 people from New England, Chick, Patty, Cave Lemon, and Ted Green. They run a podcast, they make top 10 videos, they make a weekly news panel. They ran a regional. And one of the things they did for this regional was they had people submit salty sweets or show matches that they could have. And Acidics and I, we submitted a Giant Melee first to 5. He played all Marth, I played Luigi and Peach.
Is Peach better or is Marth better as a Giant Melee character? And this is where it's supposed to get all shaken out. We'll see what happens.
Posed as a first to 5 or best of 9 battle to determine which character between Peach and Marth was better in Giant Melee, this April 2021 show match would display where the Giant metagame had evolved up to that point, with both players showing off the insane survivability and combo ability of Giant characters. Acidics and his Marth would manage to eke out a win in Game 1 on Yoshi's Story.
Interesting to me that they actually struck to Yoshi's. Wow.
And then repeat this feat in Game 2.
That's some interesting stuff, but it mostly makes it worse. I think Acidics' playstyle is actually a pretty good match for Giant Melee because remember, landing lag on aerials is universally increased, but if you're gonna ledge cancel all your aerials, then that's not a problem. So if you're Acidics doing all these fancy slide off combos, then all of those are going to work just as well, if not even better, than they would in normal-sized Super Smash Bros. Melee.
In Game 3, it looked like Acidics was about to get another win. But a platform down smash would secure the game for Dark Gen X.
Unhurt from... Whoa. Did he need to do the ledge cancel alternative there? I'm not sure.
Absolutely not, but we love to see it.
This time, moving things over to Battlefield, Game 4 was looking like a close one. At least until this happened.
Yeah, so Shine... Yeah.
Oh, damn!
With everything tied by Game 5, the conceit of the show match being played between Peach and Marth for a spot on a tier list was fully thrown out, with Dark Gen X pulling out Luigi and showing off some of the character's Giant Melee platform tech. Luigi would fall to a Ken combo in the 5th game, but get a second chance on Fountain of Dreams in Game 6, using the stage's irregular platforms to their full potential.
I don't think...
The prices drop so fast.
Yeah.
Almost like mashing. Ooh, okay.
Oh, you're sick.
6 games in, and the salty sweet was tied. Dark Gen X would switch to Peach for Game 7 on Final Destination, taking advantage of Peach's Giant Melee exclusive chain grab on Marth at the beginning of the match before pulling a Stitch Face, Peach's strongest turnip. This turnip would be used to take not one but 2 of Acidics' stocks.
Gives this game mode a weird momentum of like, oh, it took 5 hits and they're at 150, but I also can build it now.
Did you notice, like,
Oh, no.
From behind, Acidics would manage to take this game to the last stock, but then he took 2 hits from a Dot Eyes, Peach's second strongest turnip. Peach's veggies had secured the game. The score was 4-3, and Dark Gen X could now win the Salty Sweet if he just took one more game. But Acidics had no intentions to make that easy for him, even if Peach's turnips remained a massive obstacle to his success. Soon both players were down to their last stock, and with both players at high percent, Dark Gen X would link a descending back air into a drop zone nair in a flashy attempt to take out Acidics. But Giant Melee's fast fall speeds meant that his character would be KO'd before Acidics' Marth. The two were now going to Game 9.
Fighters ready. Engage.
Turnips just are not falling back down.
Yeah, that is hard.
there's so many times.
Oh, your legs cracked.
I was wondering. It looked like that's a regular
Down to the wire again.
I would say the safety versus the ground smash is racking up damage.
That's almost good for Peach, right? Because combo down smash.
Combo it, but it's not working. This is straight up
Finishes it. Acidics takes the set 5-4.
That was sick.
That was so crazy.
That was
Finally.
dope.
Acidics' victory had shown that Peach's rule over the Giant Melee tier list was not quite absolute. But regardless, it would not herald in a new golden age of Giant Melee competition. Moving forward, events for the mode would be few and far between. Although there were a few exceptions.
Stage Select is a New Jersey local, and in 2021, because Giant Melee is pretty popular in New Jersey, Bambi the TO decided to run Giant Melee once, and Homeward won, going a plethora of characters, but closed it out with Peach.
Besides the mode's inclusion in Smash Summit 12's Wheel of Bullshit side event, the side bracket at Stage Select, and the Alliston Melee Salty Sweet, 2021 and 2022 would pass by and large without Giant Melee being seen in competitive play. But with the Gecko code to play Giant Melee on Project Slippy publicly available, a growing number of players were exploring it.
YCZ also played a bunch of Giant Melee. And I believe a handful of people picked it up on the West Coast. Like Yaoi Master 42069 played it. Tokage in Montreal started playing. And I want to say Professor Pizza started playing in Alabama too. So a couple of scenes have their own like little Giant Melee scenes. I don't know how active they are right now, but for some time people would play Giant Melee there.
It would be nearly 2 years after the Alliston Melee Salty Sweet when Giant Melee's big break would finally arrive. In March of 2023, New Jersey, the mode's biggest region, was set to have a Smash Ultimate and Melee Major. And between this tournament and this community, a collision was imminent.
How Collision started? It's all Justin's fault.
Tri-State Smash Tournament Series Collision had been running since 2012, and was set in March of 2023 to feature Melee for the first time since 2016. But with this addition, the Melee side of the tournament found itself with an empty spot on its schedule during the tournament's first day, when Smash Ultimate players would be competing in the Squad Strike side event. In order to fill the Melee side of this schedule, New Jersey's side mode of choice, Giant Melee, would be called forward. Giant Melee had not even been seen at a regional event before this, but now it was going to be on the big stage at a big tournament. A laundry list of pro players, including the likes of Cody Schwab, Zane, Hungrybox, Spark, Jmook, and Magi, would all be entered into this side bracket. and then drop out on the day of the tournament. Despite this, the Collision 2023 bracket would remain the highest level event the mode had ever seen. Miffy and Darkgenix both entered the event naturally, and while most top players entered into the event would drop out, two of them, Pikachu Legend Axe and inventor of Yoshi, aMSa, would stick around for the event. While many in this tournament had never really played Giant Melee before, by the time the event reached the top 24 stage, competition was legitimately heating up.
We were both disappointed a lot of top players dropped out. But the thing we weren't surprised about one bit is that Axe and aMSa played, because they're both weird.
Right. So if you try to wave dash, you'll do this itty bitty thing. And the dash doesn't scale, which is great.
In Axe's first round of Winners Top 24, he would face off against Sheik main Chaka, using Ganondorf in place of his usual Pikachu. Things would start out well for the Arizona player, someone known for his experience and skill in some of Melee's silliest formats. But Ganon's matchup against Sheik in Melee, Giant or otherwise, has never been particularly good.
Axe played Ganondorf, which I think is very funny for Axe to play Ganondorf. I have fun with Ganondorf. It's very fun to single hit your opponent, or do a dare and they're in hit stun for longer. But like Ganondorf just gets stuck, like his weight is egregious to him.
Okay. A lot of times, you're gonna just clip right back onto the platform you're meant to drop down from, or end up on a platform you didn't think you were supposed to be on, because your hitbox is so massive. Oh, piece. That is game one for Chaka.
Oh my god. So could be good in this format.
You're dead. Oh no, no up air.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would've worked.
Yeah, feels like jump combo. Any combo that requires a jump is just slightly.
True. Give it an hour. A year's a bit long.
Oh.
There's not gonna be another one of these ever. Oh.
Soon, Chaka had used Sheik's lethal Giant Melee punish game to take out the Melee legend 2-0.
That's a 2-0.
Wow. Axe almost brought it back all the way there, but Chaka with the clutch.
On the other side of the winners bracket, Melee's number 2 player in the world, aMSa, was set to face off with Miffy, who himself was generally considered by New Jersey players to be top 2 in Giant Melee. The two would do battle in a matchup rarely seen in competitive play: Yoshi, Donkey Kong.
I have no idea how good Yoshi is, for the record, regarding aMSa. Like, none of us knew what to do.
Yoshi, we have no idea how well Yoshi was gonna do, because none of us know how to play Yoshi, and none of us still know how to play Yoshi.
One of the best Yoshi's best option is up tilt,
That's good.
and the up air combo lasts forever.
I feel like that's less safe, honestly, in the regular Melee.
You probably just.
When aMSa began playing competitive Melee, he was one of few players to take his character seriously, in time becoming the game's first ever top-level Yoshi main. And it looked like he was about to do the same thing in Giant Melee that he had done in Vanilla Melee. Using shield drops, he could enter his armor double jump without dealing with Giant Melee's additional jump squat. And using double jump armor and parrying, he could defend himself from Giant Donkey Kong's massive hits. Still, even against aMSa, Miffy would keep things close, taking the red dino to the last stock before eventually losing the first game. Possibly due to how close game 1 was, aMSa would try to use Roy in game 2, but this attempt would prove less successful.
It's a fine mix-up, but the mix-up's been used 3 times. It's the same with 3 stocks.
With one more game on the line, aMSa's Yoshi would take Miffy's DK to Dreamland.
Oh. Yeah, seriously. Okay, Yoshi's double jump does hit.
It goes far. Yeah.
So Yoshi might unironically be very good in this matchup because Peach's recovery, I think, is good because like float skills.
Right. Float's great, but the tiny umbrella, not quite.
Yes.
Upper. And that is a 75 damage. You can get all of it.
Oh no, you're right.
It might. I don't know, because I haven't hit it, but...
Ooh. Oh.
Nice.
He's still moving somehow.
I don't know. We've got movement.
Alright, how do you edge guard Yoshi?
That.
Oh, nice.
Well, it didn't work, but... Okay, you have to juggle off the top to get it. If you don't do that... Yeah, it's not bad. You can get under it pretty easily, because it looks pretty short range.
Then Melee Yoshi's juggling option is crazy good.
Just gotta let the boy cook.
With the little eggy.
The little egg for the extender, and you've been hit too much.
Oh my god.
That's a 2-1 victory for aMSa.
Where axe had faltered, aMSa had once again shown Yoshi's hidden potential, at the same time putting under question the claim that New Jersey could beat anyone at Giant Melee. NJ's claim as the mode's best region would take another hit shortly after, when Dark Gen X would find himself in a tight set against Pennsylvania Peach ex-girlfriend.
I know ex-girlfriend said that she played more Giant Melee than Melee to prepare for this tournament.
2 close games would both end in L's for NJ. And as all this was going on the event's side stream, old school New Jersey DK NJ's Finest was struggling in his winner's quarters set against Minnesota's top Fox Preeminent, who entered the tournament playing mostly Peach. Another DK had bitten the dust, tying an ape-unfriendly bow on the first round of Winners Top 24. And while Miffy, NJ's Finest, axe, and Dark Gen X would begin their losers runs, Preeminent would take a Winners Semis match over Chaka.
The Zelda is gone.
Then in his Winners Semis match, aMSa would put on a clinic against ex-girlfriend.
This could be huge.
aMSa doesn't care.
Never mind.
aMSa doesn't
Oh my god! He lets the spin!
Put him down!
What? No! He just ate the spin! Wait! Oh my god! Wait! Yoshi's armor works differently in this mode! Oh my god!
aMSa and Preeminent were set to square off in Winners Finals. But meanwhile, in the losers bracket, the 2 surviving New Jerseyans found themselves squaring off in Losers Top 8, fighting not, as they may have suspected, to win the bracket, but to simply stay alive.
My set versus Miffy, he goes DK, and he thinks DK could beat Peach. DK has like up air strings. His back air is super disjointed. The up B is about the same. DK is a big winner.
Miffy would recover from a huge deficit in Game 1. But as this game reached its last stock, Dark Gen X would pull 2 Stitch-Face turnips in a row before taking Game 1. From there, Game 1's victor would switch to his melee main, the Ice Climbers, and Miffy would switch to Samus, a character whose nerfed giant melee recovery had led many to write her off. Within the first 10 seconds of this second game, Miffy would down smash 4 times, in a display of one of Giant Samus's strongest tools. Using Samus's massive hitboxes and crouch cancels, Miffy would hold a comfortable lead over Dark Gen X in Game 2, catching his rival's fur-coated goons unawares. With the Icies struggling, Dark Gen X would go back to Peach for Game 3, and Miffy would pull out Luigi.
Luigi, I mean, he's fun, but like, I almost don't want to play Luigi in Giant Melee for the same reason I dropped Luigi as a secondary in Melee, where I'm having fun, but my opponents aren't. Which is ironic for me to say considering I play Puff and DK. But with Luigi, it was so much worse. And then there was a point where I just stopped enjoying Luigi. So it's a net negative for both players.
The two found themselves dead even with 1 stock apiece when, stuck on a side platform, Miffy got sucked into Peach's platform down smash, more or less ending the game. With Dark Gen X 1 game away from winning, Miffy would return to DK for Game 4, putting on a real show for why the character had potential against Giant Peach. Finally, it would all come down to Game 5. A final Samus vs. Peach match on Final Destination, where, despite the stakes, there would still be a mutual respect between the two practice partners.
Game 5 back and forth, like each of us play like 2 or 3 different characters. It was like one of the highest level sets of Giant Melee ever played.
Like Justin said, high level melee, Giant Melee match in 7th place is kind of ridiculous. And I wish I played longer because I wish I was on stream longer to show how ridiculous Giant Melee is. But that's what Justin was for.
Leaving his practice partner in the dust, Dark Gen X would move forward to play a close losers round 5 set against Chaka. But as this was going on, the winners finals match between aMSa and Preeminent was ready to kick off in winners finals. To the average onlooker, Preeminent being here in winners finals instead of, say, Dark Gen X, Miffy, or even axe may have come as a surprise. But for those who had been watching the Minnesota player, it kind of made sense, as this player had been quietly building up a resume as one of Melee's strongest players in the world of side events.
I enter all the funny side events because I know a lot about how items and the wacky stages work. I know most things about them. So when I enter the funny brackets, I usually do well, and then I get the money for it.
Preeminent had not played Giant Melee to the same degree as the New Jersey crew, but he had come to the event more prepared than many.
Yeah, I remember seeing that Giant Melee was at Collision, and I was talking to Justin about it. I was like, do you guys all play this? And he's like, yeah, if you want to grind it before Collision, let me know. And so I'd played him one night on Netplay, and I think we played for an hour. And everyone from New Jersey has their funny characters. Miffy plays Donkey Kong, Link, Samus, and Justin plays all these other characters. And I'm like, you've all been doing this forever. I don't have time to learn these random characters. I just pick Peach. I just beat them all with Peach.
Picking Peach purely for her power, Preeminent had pulverized his opponents, finding that if he didn't know what to do immediately, he could use his pre-existing skills in melee singles to put together an effective game plan on the spot.
I played Chaka played Sheik, and I lost the first game because I hadn't played against a Sheik before, but then I'm like, oh, I can up throw chain grab Sheik. What? And then I dash attack in there, and then I just won.
Many of the players Preeminent had beaten so far were pretty good at Giant Melee, but aMSa was a world-class player of Melee in general, and a player who oddly enough had become a common obstacle to Preeminent when entering side brackets.
At Double Down, there were two side events. It was a Pokeballs on with where you do RPS, and then the winner of RPS decides if they want to go to Pokemon Stadium or Pokefloats. And it's all best of one. And I got third at that because it was single Elim, and I played aMSa in winter semis, and he beat me. And then the other side bracket was random stages, and I also got third in that, losing to aMSa. He's just way better at the game. He's just too good.
As Preeminent and aMSa faced off in Giant Melee Winners Finals, Preeminent was hoping to overturn his aMSa curse.
They're good Giant Melee players, but they're not used to being completely bombarded by eggs. When Axe parry, or why do I keep saying Axe? When aMSa parries them. Axe aMSa, it's close. It's close, and they teamed. It's a thing.
Playing on Dreamland, Melee's largest legal stage, both characters' ability to live into high percents would be on display for this match. But in the end, aMSa would clutch things out.
Wow. It's not going enough to kill by any means, but it's up there.
Wow, this is kill percent, baby. Wow, aMSa popping off.
Peach is typically seen as having a winning matchup on Yoshi in regular Melee, with some of her simplest tools like crouch cancel down smash working as a counter against Yoshi's double jump armor. While most characters have shields in Melee that can be poked by this down smash, Yoshi's egg shield will protect his entire body for its entire duration. There's a downside to this, however, which is that Yoshi can be particularly vulnerable to shield breaks, which are otherwise pretty rare in the game. One of these shield breaks would come to pass in the last stock of Game 2, when the multiple hits of Giant Peach's down smash shredded through the egg shield. When aMSa flew up from his shield being broken, he would land on the side platform next to Preeminent, whose character's sheer size then pushed Yoshi back off of the platform, canceling the shield break stun animation altogether.
That's the second. Wait. Can you explain that?
It looks like Peach pushed aMSa off, and then it canceled the end lag of his shield break.
A down smash of Yoshi's own would soon secure the game for aMSa instead. With aMSa on the cusp of getting into winner's side of Grand Finals, Preeminent would interrupt an attempted egg stall in Game 3 to put himself on the board. But by Game 4, aMSa would clutch up. If Peach was good at comboing in Giant Melee, Yoshi retained what he had in regular Melee. An excellent ability to take your combo and make it his own.
He beat his own best combo. Oh my god, just dash that. No way!
Yoshi's the best character.
aMSa being in Grand Finals. Who could have predicted this?
Everyone else is spamming Peach, and then aMSa just walks right through, does all of the tech like it's the same game, like nothing changed, and then just waltzes right to Grand Finals winner side. Doesn't go to Game 5, doesn't worry, doesn't sweat.
So it was that Preeminent would fall into the losers bracket, and 2022's number 2 player in the world was looking poised to take first. But there were still more matches to be played in this bracket. Having beaten Chaka in losers quarters, DarkGenX had pushed his way to losers semifinals, where he found himself staring down a rematch with none other than ex-girlfriend, the Peach player who had not only taken him out in winners, but also taken out axe in losers to get to this point of the bracket. When the two played in the winners bracket, it had been a Peach ditto, and this losers semis match would begin the same way. Except this time in the first game, DarkGenX would win.
Something. That toad is so big! Why? I just got jump scared in Melee!
Oh my god, hey, that's a Stitch face.
Melee's a horror game!
That was so terrifying. He expanded as he was used too. It's like all the gas within him. Oh my god, what a comeback!
DarkGenX off stage!
Ex-girlfriend would fire back in Game 2, so DarkGenX would decide to, instead of playing Peach, show off some of his other characters.
I think that all of the platform cancels are going to be your key for marking damage and movement. So I guess that's...
Okay. Oh. I wanted to see the first giant.
An Acidics-inspired Marth would take Game 3, but the New Jersey player would decide to make one more character switch moving into Game 4.
Falco. Yeah. Oh wait,
DarkGenX picked Falco.
With this being more or less Falco's first appearance in this entire phase of the bracket, could the bird truly succeed?
Yeah, I played Falco against ex-girlfriend, the Peach, in Game 4, and I did some demonstrated some Falco stuff, like the edge cancels, up smash being an anti-air, up tilt being an anti-air. Whenever you're starting out playing Melee and you're comboing a CPU for the first time, it's like, oh wow, I feel like Mango, I'm just shine daring and they can't get out. It's like that, but in Giant Melee, it's real.
If I showed you the first stock of this match and what just happened there and said that's the same guy, you wouldn't have believed me. Oh my god!
I think it's a hard read. I was rolling so big.
Okay. GG's. Ex-girlfriend just probably said, you're really good.
Yes.
Because that's what I would have said.
Having had his revenge on ex-girlfriend, DarkGenX would now have to face off against Preeminent to see who could challenge aMSa in Grand Finals. And despite DarkGenX being warm in the Peach Ditto, Preeminent would outplay him.
0 to death to be
At
exact.
that point, I was just like warm with Peach. I had like the tech skill down because it's like a lot, but I was warmed up. You know, I'm playing Peach, and then I just like, I don't know, just beat them. Like, there's people from New Jersey who play the game a lot, but they're not as good at singles as me, so they can't like think as well as I can.
3-stocked in Game 1, DarkGenX would pull out his Ices and take Preeminent to Final Destination for Game 2. And despite the matchup being absurdly Peach favored in ordinary Melee, in Giant Melee, it's a little bit different.
Oh my god, Handoff.
Put him down!
Peach's faster fall speed in Giant Melee opens her up to a chain grab, which on Final Destination could be used to carry Peach to the edge in order to initiate a lethal handoff. Dark Genix's handoffs had taken 2 stocks, but Preeminent's down smashes were doing massive damage, and separating the climbers from one another at the same time. Soon he had taken Game 2. A final, close, Final Destination Peach Ditto would end with the Minnesota Fox Main's Blue Peach on top, knocking Dark Genix unceremoniously out of the bracket.
That's it. 3-0 and a handshake. Preeminent looking great.
Preeminent was going on, but on winner's side of Grand sat a Yoshi legend who was ready to play to win.
So unfortunate. Yeah. So trying to hold down on this platform here. Kind of hit there.
And a beautiful counter hit in order. That's going to be the first game.
Gross.
And I don't know what to tell you.
Preeminent's Peach had lost Game 1, and an attempt to go Dr. Mario and chain grab on Final Destination would not be enough to take Game 2. Finally, with one loss standing between him and losing the tournament, Preeminent would throw caution to the wind and pull out his Fox. But even this didn't quite change the situation.
Preeminent ended up switching to Fox because that's his main. But then aMSa just wins because aMSa is the best to ever touch the dinosaur.
So anytime I was ever beating aMSa, he would go to the ledge and throw eggs. Your eggs go farther, so you can like egg stall, and they get sent the entire stage. So like I can't dodge them. I have to like go up to you and challenge them.
Okay, maybe it does work. Down smash just straight up. I don't even think Preeminent was able to do anything the way Preeminent reacted there.
Yeah, it looked like something tech-craft and, what? Wait, was aMSa on the ground when he started that down throw, and then he, like, went to the platform?
That's been happening, yeah.
That does so much damage. Congratulations to aMSa. He's popping off. He's so excited for winning Giant Melee Grand Finals.
I might have like aMSa has probably taken like $1,000 from me between all 3 of these events. I still have my Giant Melee second place medal. Yeah, it's sick.
Preeminent was out, and the best regular-sized Melee player in the bracket had proven himself to also be the best player in the bracket at Giant Melee. Following these results, Miffy would adjust the Giant Melee tier list, moving Yoshi tentatively between the S and A tiers. From there, Giant Melee would return mostly to obscurity, although New Jersey players would continue to lab out the mode, with Miffy releasing the second in a series of videos featuring clips of the game mode entitled Giant Melee Whatever Again in September of 2023. Naturally, the exploration of Giant Melee would also give way to an exploration of the potential of Giant Giga Bowser, the giant version of Melee's giant and more monstrous version of Bowser.
Yeah, he's supposed to be huge. I can't even tell it's Giant Melee Bowser. He just looks
can't
like,
grab him.
Yeah.
You try to grab him, it doesn't work.
So yes, Collision had been the biggest event Giant Melee had ever seen, but it would not be the only organized play the mode would see in 2023. In October of that year, tournament Rise and Grind would feature Giant Melee's second recorded event of the year. Unfortunately, most of this side event's entrance would drop out before the bracket.
I was really excited for Rise and Grind because they had like 4 funny side events for Melee. Giant Melee, because it's the only one you paid to enter, had 4 entrants. It was really sad. One person showed up. I found him before like it was even time to start bracket. We played our set, and then I left to go catch up with like Kadoran and a couple other people to go eat food. It was $10 per person, so I got like $40 for doing nothing.
Later that month, at Melee Super Major The Big House 11, Preeminent and Dark Genix would engage in a first to 5 Giant Melee money match for the Golden Guardians YouTube channel. But unfortunately, before this video could be edited and released, Golden Guardians would cease operations, with the Giant Melee exhibition reportedly being scheduled to be the next released video on their YouTube channel when they shut down. Despite these setbacks in 2023, Giant Melee would return for the next installation of Collision in 2024. And while some players like aMSa, X, and Ex-Girlfriend would not be present at the event, a new threat would make his way over from across the pond. A blizzard was a-brewing.
Justin is very much looking forward to Nicki playing Giant Melee.
Das ist, was ich
Diese
meine.
Dash-Attack-Sache, die hat
Was
er...
macht Nana jetzt? Was macht Nana jetzt?
Spectre?
Oh mein Gott, Nana!
Das hatte Nicki die Tage auf... Oh mein Gott.
Liegestützen. Es ist...
Nicki was a German Melee player who, a few years after he had started competing, was first ranked on Melee's top 100 list in 2019, the same year that they would also be ranked number 1 in Germany. However, despite a steady rise in the Melee scene, in 2020 this player's interests would drift away from the furry space pilot. And over the next few years, 2 hammer-wielding icons would steal Nicki's heart.
Last year in 2023, the beginning of the year, I was like, I might as well just play Ice Climbers. I might just do worse with them, but I enjoy them more. I think they're really funny and so much hilarious stuff happens and it's great content for Twitter. Let me just pick Ice Climbers because I feel like I could do okay with them, and even if I don't do as well as I used to with Fox before, I'll at least have more fun with it. And now I'm kind of in so deep that I feel like I'm doing as well as I used to before, if not better, and I'm having more fun with the game, and I feel like I was able to carve out more of an identity for myself as a player with, you know, this character.
Nicki's Ice Climbers switch was atypical, as the banning of the Ice Climbers Infinite, known as wobbling in 2019, drove many Ices players away from the game. But with a penchant towards solo practice and playing to learn, Nicki found that the Climbers were still in some ways an unexplored character, with lots of room for creative expression and optimization as players tried to carve out the character's identity in a post-wobbling world.
You know, Fox players, there's always a bunch of Fox players in the top 50 who are all good at many different things. Some of them have their own stuff that they implement, and if it proves to be good, then others start copying it. But for Ices, it's like, there's so much information and knowledge out there that just no one has been able to implement yet, or just, you know, hasn't been shown at a high level yet. So that for newer players, it's hard to tell which information is actually like good and useful, and what is like very niche fringe tech that isn't really worth learning. And I think that's really interesting, is, you know, playing against good players and trying all these things out, and then being one of the first people to ever show these things on the bigger stage.
Nicki's fearsome twosome would climb not only Ice, but also Melee's ranked European leaderboard. And at the same time, they would also make groundbreaking performances at EU events, even taking Triff, one of the best Peaches in the world, to Game 5 in one of Melee's most unforgiving matchups at French tournament Avant-la-Fête in 2023. While obviously skilled, Nicki had been absent from North American tournaments at this point since 2019, making much of his skill still unknown in the American-centric world of competitive Melee. Thankfully, in 2024, Nicki's opportunity for a proper stateside showing would arrive.
Because he wanted to fly out the players who'd been doing well on Slippy Ranked, and I've been ranked 1 in Europe for more than a year now. He wanted to fly all these people out to Genesis to, like, you know, have a big meetup of all the ranked grinders from the different regions. But I couldn't make it to Genesis, so I asked him if instead we could do the same thing for Collision instead.
Nicki's top priority at Collision 2024 would of course be the Melee singles bracket. But unlike many top players, he would also decide to deliberately enter and prepare for the tournament's Giant Melee side event, and explore what his Melee main was capable of in that game mode. The only problem was that few players were willing to actually play Giant Melee with him, meaning he would have to prepare for the tournament by and large on his own.
I just played against CPUs at home, just to get a feeling for, like, okay, which character's hitboxes hit from where on the stage. Like figuring out that Samus down smash hits you if you're standing in center stage and she's on the side platform. Figuring out like when and where you might be able to crouch under Peach down smash if she's on the platform, and where that's definitely not a good thing to do. So it was a lot of just like picking the characters that I was told were decent, because I asked Dark Genix like what the meta is and what I can expect to see, and he gave me example sets from last year and other tournaments that helped a lot. That was basically my preparation. It was just me at home on my Slippy setup, playing single player Melee, and just, you know, beating up some CPUs and actually trying to understand like how Giant Melee functions compared to regular Melee.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Collision 2024.
2024.
There's no escaping the platform. Irony Falcon. Before our very eyes.
Oh my god.
Kill?
Whoa. Oh, he's dead. Whoa! So sick.
He's got a better handle on tipper range?
Whoa. No way. No way, dude.
Gets over that. Giant. Now she's the best character in the theoretical game.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh. All right, Gomi.
Show me a little magic here.
Go me the money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
You can't SDI far enough away. We need like the NBA. Oh! Terrifying. Knee! No! He knew! Wow. I don't know if he would have hit.
The first phase of Giant Melee at Collision 2024 would go much like the previous years, with plenty of signed up top players not showing up, and with Dark Gen X, Miffy, Chaka, and Preeminent looking strong.
That was brutal. This is so evil.
As for Nicki, he would make his way through pools on the winner's side, but with closer games than he would have liked.
My very first set was an Icy's Ditto on Giant Melee, and my opponent was really just like spamming smash attacks, and I won, like, I think it was a 2-stock both games, but it felt like it shouldn't have been that difficult. So I was considering, playing some friendlies with other characters just to try it out, but I also felt like, that wouldn't be me, it wouldn't be my true self if I sit down and then, pick Peach just because she's good, right? I play Ice Climbers not because they're the best, but because I think they're funny and they do funny stuff.
By the time the bracket's final top 16 phase arrived, the question of whether Nicki could compete with some of Giant Melee's greatest established players would hang heavy. The player's first major test would come in Winners Top 16 against Hoborg, a player who had already won a Giant Melee tournament who was playing as the Icy's sworn enemy, Peach.
It was one of the first Peaches I played, and yeah, it was a best of 3, so that was pretty scary.
Peach is classified in her own tier in Giant Melee.
So I can give a good insight on this. Peach has down smash. In Giant Melee, multi-hit moves go vroom, 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 vroom.
Full stop.
And Peach's down smash does like 15% per hit. So you go vroom, 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 and now you're at kill percent.
Very true. Also, so true, bestie.
However, this matchup is
doable.
Not bad.
It's doable.
In singles, like Ice Climbers really struggle to deal with certain float heights that Peach can go for. Usually it's the float height that goes like right above Icy's short hop back air, where Peach can become really awkward to hit. But in Giant Melee, Ice Climbers dash attack hits really high up because their hammers, are scaled to their character size. So the annoying float height becomes way easier to deal with because you have your dash attack, and Peach would have to float so absurdly high to avoid the dash attack that she wouldn't really be a threat to you anymore. So that was one of the main things I took going into this bracket. I had pretty much zero experience against real players, but I was like, alright, I know the Peach matchup is still the same thing, you just try to not get down smashed and you try to avoid forward air. But I had like 2 or 3 specific things that I knew I could use in this mode to deal with certain float heights that didn't exist in regular Melee. And that's kind of what I focused on is, where do I have options that I wouldn't otherwise have?
One down smash ruined his life.
Wait,
no, Nana got on top platform.
Nana ran to high platform. Oh,
okay, this got
a little out. Great air. And smash kills. You're dead!
Despite a tight second game, Nicki had soon secured the win over Hoborg, meaning he was now in winner's semis, where he would have to face off with none other than Dark Gen X, a player who both knew his way around Giant Melee and around the Ice Climbers. And while Nicki was somewhat prepared for Peach, Dark Gen X's Giant Falco was an entirely different beast.
Yeah, I mean, my winner's semis set with Dark Gen X was a very important learning set for me, because I was playing, the guy who I knew was probably best at this mode and had the most experience.
If you're bringing Slug to Game 5 as a Spacey, you are phenomenal at the matchup. Up tilt from Nana, but dead.
After losing Game 1 to the New Jersey Bird, Nicki would take Dark Gen X to Final Destination. But in the process, the Icy's player found that Giant Melee's engine changes made the Ice Climbers' traditional game plan for the stage much more difficult.
In regular Melee, Ice Climbers just love Final Destination in pretty much any matchup because people either hit you from the side, which means you can use Blizzard and you throw out aerials to wall them out, or they full hop, which is usually more reactable than any grounded approaches, and then you can get your up airs out in time. But in Giant Melee, your up airs take you longer to get out, your Blizzard doesn't really protect you from the front, so that characters like Falco or Peach can just go above you and then play double jump or float height mix-ups that make it really hard to actually prevent them from just coming down on top of you and beating you up. Because if Falco hits that one down air, if Peach hits the one forward air, you're just, Peach down smashes you after Falco shines your Nana and then takes her on a ride. So at that point, you've just already lost neutral without many good options to deal with it.
Nicki would keep things close for Game 2. But Dark Gen X's Bird would edge things out. And with the Giant Melee veteran now up 2-0, Falco would be put on the bench, and Dark Genix's Giant Marth would return to the big stage.
Yeah, I feel like the Marth was more of a for fun pick because he won the first 2 games so easily. Then it was like, might as well go Marth. Then it ended up turning out to be a bit closer in the end anyways.
A player well versed in the regular size Marth Ices matchup, Nicki would hit Dark Genix with a JV4 stock, forcing the New Jerseyan back to his bird.
That showed me like, okay, I have a disadvantage against these players, like I'm behind, but I think I have enough games left in this tournament to catch back up. So let me just try to, keep it easy and just actually look at what's happening on the screen without putting too much value on, if I'm winning or not. Because I know that if I don't stress myself out too much and if I just, try to be curious about this game mode and what my character can do in it, I'll have a lot more fun and I think I can actually win that way.
They're chanting for Ices, but Justin shut that down. He looks like a normal Falco. Not dead, upper kill. No! Down smash though. Okay, Nicki escapes, down smash, good kill.
I think Nicki should wobble for significantly longer. That'd be really funny.
Is that dead?
It's dead! Game 5!
What had once looked like a steamroll was now a tight Game 5 set. So in one more character switch, Dark Genix would pick Giant Melee's best character and biggest map. But Nicki seemed ready for this too. The Ices player would open Game 5 by comboing Dark Genix into a handoff for the first stock.
Someone who's taken Trift to Game 5 before has a punish game.
Even missed the grab.
And even after losing Nana, Nicki was able to take another stock off of Dark Genix before they lost their first. Dark Genix would go on to take the next 2 stocks unanswered.
Yes.
Yes.
The game would be all but tied going into the last stock.
Villain, well, I'm a hero. And I'm a save Dark Genix. Back row. Just to get the edge guard. No. Nana! She did that deed!
Possibly, yeah.
Upper will. Last stock. Is that a basket? Is it
Final quarter. Yeah. Yes.
The quarter?
Yeah. In basketball. We're in March.
Quickly, Nicki looked like he was going to win the game with another handoff at the ledge. But instead, the winds of Wispy Woods would push Dark Genix's Peach to the ledge, and both players would find themselves a couple strong hits away from death.
Hit Nicki, find it! Not dead.
Next one, depending on position,
Yeah, you
KOs,
can't take an F-smash. What a fair. Nair!
Wait! Don't let Nana mess up the vibe again!
Ah! What an air dodge.
Oh, what a
side
Wait, the stick face! Oh, it's over, it's over, it's over, it has to be!
Dark Genix!
Wait! What is he doing? Oh my
god! Away!
Dark Genix was going to winners finals to fight Miffy, while Nicki was being relegated to losers quarters. And while Giant Melee's biggest boosters would prepare for their match, the German Ices would be meeting up with the Sheik player who got 5th in the previous year's Giant bracket. And even though Sheik is often considered a comfort matchup for Ice Climbers players, Chaka itself had also become comfortable in the mode, and well aware of the way it overtunes Sheik's already absurdly strong combo game.
It was very intimidating to see Sheik just press any button in the world and everything combos into everything, and then everything combos into tipper up smash, which kills you at 100. It's not what you're used to from regular melee, where I just crouch cancel grab the Sheik and then they die at any percent, and they have no way of comboing or killing Popo or Nana really. But that was definitely a trip to be taken on. Just because those combos, dude, I just wasn't getting out. You get F tilted once, you're not holding down, and it's just attack into dash attack into anything else. And then Falco was playing on a rectangle controller, and I just heard the aggressive clicking, and it was so intimidating. It was very scary for sure.
Stop, but Nicki with this punish. I don't know if the wobble code applies to Giant Melee.
That's what I'm saying, just wobble.
Is that dead?
Why not?
No! Chaka lives, dodging the up smashes. Now we're looking for extra credit. CC grab, and Nicki's in there. They're trying to escape the grab. What an ice kick pull! That single-handedly took
By Game 3, the set was tied, with Nicki having taken Chaka to Final Destination, a stage the Ice Climbers are generally pretty strong on. But without any platforms, could the Giant Ice Climbers truly outpunish a seasoned Giant Sheik? Going into both players' last stock, it seemed like they could.
Well, I bought the glasses, so we broke up, but what do you call it? It's like Nana. Nana feels like that vibe where she don't know what's going on, but she's like, "You got this, babe."
That's good. Yeah.
You got this.
Chaka would then take Nicki to Fountain of Dreams. And soon, the Ices player was looking ready to take the game. But when setting up an edge hog to force Chaka to recover to stage, Nicki's backup climber took a plunge. Chaka then took out Nicki's lead climber, and on the last stock, the backup climber. If this set was going to end here, it would have to be done by Popo alone.
We see the boost grab. You're insane. You lost for that. That's crazy. What
Nicki
a set.
takes it after almost throwing a 3-1 lead. Nana almost gave that away, but Sopo pulled it back.
Nicki was now just 2 sets away from Grand Finals, and with every set, the player was learning more and more. But now, in losers semifinals, they would have to play the runner-up of last year's bracket, Preeminent, who had lost to Miffy on the other side of winners semifinals.
It's crazy. Let's see. This is good here, but it only dealt 20, so.
Up air.
Okay,
Wait.
this is where you make your money, but.
Attack again.
I
Back air
feel-
knocks down? Oh! He's the GOAT. Wait, he's the GOAT. Bear
Okay,
that in, that's the
okay.
stock. 3 stocks down, Anthony's got to lock in.
Okay, so the more I see these tech positions, oh no, it's just over! I didn't even get to talk about my high-level observations!
Nicki had already proven his mettle against Hopeorg's Giant Peach, but Preeminence was perhaps in another giant league. The set between the two would start, and a symphony of C-stick down smashing would soon ensue. All in all, the two were well matched. But while these players butted heads, another lesser understood force would start to wield its chaotic influence on the game. Nana, the secondary climber, has always been a bit of an odd figure when left to her own devices. But Nicki was finding her behavior in Giant Melee even stranger, as the character found herself all too often separated from her man.
So, when both climbers are just standing still on top of each other, that's when you call them connected, right? Like if you do an input, then Popo will do it and Nana will do the same input 6 frames later. And then if you do certain movement options, or if Nana gets hit or the other climber gets hit, she will disconnect, where she enters the AI controlled mode where she does her own thing. And the distance at which Nana disconnects is still the same as in regular melee. So if you do something like a dash forward, jump cancel grab, and you hit the opponent with it, then Popo will land the grab because his grab comes out first. But Nana will do her own grab. She will miss the opponent because they're already being grabbed, so she can't grab them again. But she will keep sliding forward because of the dash forward. And because she is so big, she will slide so far forward that she will disconnect. So a lot of grabs that I got in regular melee, you just do dash forward, jump cancel grab, and then Nana misses her grab, but she's still in range, so she slides back to you, and then you can do stuff with her. But in Giant Melee, a lot of grabs that I got the grab, but Nana just was so far away, because the distance between the center of Popo and Nana was still, too large, because she was moving so fast, that she ended up doing her own thing a lot of the time.
Sometimes being disconnected would make Giant Nana throw herself off stage, or sit idly on stage too far out of range for Popo to assist him in recovering. But at other times, a disconnected Nana's size and weight was turning her into an unpredictable stage hazard. This would be especially true on Preeminent's Fountain of Dreams counterpick in Game 2.
The wrong way, though. We could be even.
Nana saving Popo! Forcing Anthony to retreat to ledge. What did Preeminent do?
Oh, okay, the shield step comes through.
Oh no, the platform!
But in Giant Melee, if she enters attack mode a bit more often, attack mode is when she's disconnected and she sees an opponent next to her, especially when Popo isn't anywhere on the stage, right? If she sees Popo on the stage, she will enter chase mode and try to go to where Popo is. But if if Popo is somewhere where she can't go, she will just enter attack mode, because attack mode is based not on how close her center is to the opponent, but more on if there is an opponent somewhere close to her. So if Nana is huge and the opponent is huge, then the opponent will just be closer to her more often.
These down smashes are doing it. Oh! What a sequence living! Down smash goes too high, can't risk it. Great spacing, and Sopo's gonna do it alone.
That was great. Oh, it's over. It's over.
Whoa!
Minding Nicki's free-spirited assistant, Preeminent managed to take Game 3, preventing his opponent from sweeping the set. Nicki would then counterpick Preeminent to Final Destination. But once again, it was clear that the stage's benefits for ICs in regular Melee were far less potent in Giant mode.
Yeah, just the style. Yeah, see? But what if it was funny? Okay.
Instead of removing platforms, Nicki would restore them for a final 5th game on Battlefield, where the IC's strength as a combined unit would really get a chance to shine.
Nana's never dying unless you're killing her. Ooh, the Jeremy grab! Wow!
That's gonna be way down. Or run forward, up smash, yeah.
F-smash won't kill, but does he have a double jump? Okay, and he does. Oh, smash!
Wait, is Nana dead?
No! Okay. Dash is bad! The platform! Ah, and Nicki takes it! Goes on to top 3.
Dude, Nana had no idea what she was doing.
Nicki was moving forward to Losers Finals, where he was going to have to face the loser of Dark Gen X and Miffy, who had once again met in a Giant Melee bracket, this time in Winners Finals with a multi-character slobber knocker.
I would say we're definitely more united.
That's something that's up. Like, he's personifying a lot of the Melee ethos of like, this is really funny to me, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
But now, Miffy has him on. Oh,
No, it's not gonna go, yeah. You still need some type of one. Oh, no.
Oh, should have killed him.
That's dead. Yeah.
Just into fire. It does go far. Oh, Jack starting up the sequence. Putting on so much pressure. There goes a poke to side flat. There. Oh, no.
In regular Melee. But you could just die a lot of the time.
No, this is a matchup that Nicki's gonna have some experience in. He knows Justin. They are practicing.
Yeah. Wow, the weight.
Really well. It's also down.
I think this is, yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is true for like 30 or so. Giant Melee, I don't know why I would know that percent, but it seems like it felt right. Oh! Okay, reversal now.
Up there. What a combo. Calling out Justin's landing.
I like calling it half a
I think it's a very high call.
It's a good.
I know that the West
Yeah. Oh, multi-man. Okay, that got weird. That's okay though. You do find a follow. Oh no!
Down smash sent nowhere. Dead!
With Dark Gen X winning Winners Finals, now Miffy and Nicki would face off to see who could get the run back against him. Nicki's ICs were looking hot, but Miffy, with a wealth of experience against Dark Gen X's Ice Climbers, felt prepared for the matchup.
As I was sitting down to play Miffy in Losers Finals, and they picked Samus, and I sat down and I was like, you know, hi, nice to play you. I have no idea what this matchup is supposed to be like. And then Miffy was like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you too much because we're about to play a set, but just know that Dark Gen X refuses to play Ice Climbers against my Samus. And then I was like, okay, Dark Gen X refuses to play this matchup, apparently. So let's see what we're in for. And in the first game, I just get down smashed to the side platform a bunch.
The thing with Ices I don't like is I feel like it's pretty easy to exploit them. Because Nana kind of really doesn't understand what's going on sometimes. And I think they're hard counter as Samus. As Samus, say we're on Yoshi's, Samus Ices, and Samus can stay on the side platform. She down smashes Ices and might catch Nana, and then they're dead. She can just keep F smashing, keep up tilting. And that's an issue with Ices. It's like, I just feel like Ices are more likely to be exploited.
Quickly, Miffy would take game 1.
When I lost the first game to the Samus, I was like, alright, I lost to the Samus, but I feel like I didn't necessarily get outplayed. I feel like I just outplayed myself pretty hard. And then, you know, I take it to FD where there's no platforms.
Seeking to evade Miffy's C-stick spam, Nicki would take the Jersey player to Final Destination, where Miffy would opt to, instead of Samus, use Luigi, Melee's equivalent of a rook in chess. But Nicki would pull ahead as the second game progressed.
Backer only clipping Nana, that was crazy. Good dare. Alright, Luigi can still put out a ton of moves in there.
Oh, Nana knows.
Down air, but getting grabbed. That'll do it.
And with Nicki coming out of Game 2 the victor, the stage of Battlefield would be set for Samus's return.
Then we go back onto a platform stage in Game 3. But then at that point I was like, okay, I know that the down smash is probably coming, and I have a dash attack that goes across the entire stage and hits through that platform. So if I could just wait it out and then get my up air, I get like dash attack into 2 areas, which is like 60%, and that's fine, right? Yes, I die if I get hit by one of them, but if I know they're coming, and you know, if I'm a decent player who's able to track where the Samus is on the stage and when the down smash or down airs could come out, I should be able to avoid the insta-kill. So let's just try to do that, and then that ended up working out pretty well. So yeah, there's I feel like the matchup opinions. I feel like if more Giant Melee is played and an actual meta develops, these things will change very quickly just based on one person showing that a certain thing is possible or not.
I am dead. I am perished. Okay. I was about to say can't get too much of a punish, but the last hit of Skull Hammer into down smash was crazy.
Landing with Dare. Oh, Nana just keeping that pressure on with that jab. Nicki couldn't even act out of it. Back throw, back air.
Scaring down another potential 3-1 loss, Miffy would trade Samus for his Preeminent slaying Ape in Game 4. But this DK would not be enough.
That's weaker though in like every matchup. Honestly.
Yeah.
Landing on platforms is really bad if you don't know the right way you're
Well, even like something like shielding on platforms is like brutal.
By the time the dust had cleared, Nicki was headed to Grants.
For how good Miffy was pre-mashing to get out of that earlier grab, just kind of gave it up right there. But
So it was that with a string of victories, Nicki had climbed the icy slope of Collision 2024's Giant Melee losers bracket. And now, at the peak of this bracket, stood the player whose advocacy had done much to enable the mode's competitive existence in the first place, and the only player who had been able to trounce the German Ices thus far all day, the Giant Melee and Ice Climbers understander, DarkGenX. The New Jersey multi-main was looking to finally win a Giant Melee tournament, but with a lengthy losers run behind them, Nicki was feeling more confident than ever.
did run up, shine, and it connected under platform.
So big. Dead, that Nana. The Dare still sends to that awful angle. Even if it's not as strong, it's gonna do, or even if they're heavier, they're still gonna fall. Up air, up air shine, not finding
You
it.
double shine in Giant Melee with this messed up jump squat?
One thing that DarkGenX's Falco had successfully done in the two's winner semi-set was utilize Falco's shine to separate the climbers and set up massive combos. But knowing that this option was coming, Nicki would in Grand Finals develop an approach to prepare for this option, just as he had for Samus's down smash.
There's 2 main ways I was getting shined. It was either like running shine across the stage from him, or it was just like full hop double jump stuff. And I feel like I was one of the players who actually used wave dashing the most. Ice climbers can still wave dash decently, right? The wave dash doesn't scale with their size, so it is relatively shorter. But in regular melee, it goes so far that even in Giant Melee, you can still get some very good uses out of it. And then I could just wave dash around like the Falco full hop because it goes so high that it's somewhat easy to react to and just avoid where exactly the Falco is coming down. And that helped me, you know, figuring out those 2 ways I was getting fined and just getting 0 death comboed, and then avoiding both of these in a way where I can actually react to what's going on. It's really just about figuring out what's messing you up the hardest, and then knowing your character and your options in that game mode well enough to know if you should fight it, if you should avoid it, or if you should, you know, maybe you can react to it.
Take control of the court now. No other one compares to you. Scoring high, can't lose now. Those magic moves will keep shining through. And all your troubles go away. No worries when you play. Playing to win because you're shooting for the big time. Moving ahead, cut loose and double overtime. Score at the top, time to drill the heat. Got a pass back, jump shot, ain't nobody gonna be bringing them down. Just a few to go, taking one by one, gonna let them know. Work the ball, looks like you got them beat. Now clear the courts, these guys are gonna melt down.
The slowest Firebird you could ever imagine. Are we seeing the Peach counter pick?
Going to FD. Huh.
You do lose a lot of the fun platform movement that you were getting.
I agree. I think the platform movement is hasn't been working for the
big time, moving ahead, cut loose and double overtime, scoring the top, time to turn up the heat. Got a pass back jump shot, ain't nobody gonna be bringing them down. Just a few to go, taking one by one, gonna let them know. Work the ball, looks like you got them beat. Now clear the courts, these guys are gonna melt down.
Signs of life. Let's see. He's been doing Firebird a lot.
Great
Yeah, I feel like the drift is so ambiguous.
Oh, it could be over. Oh, Nana's dead at least. Nicki, though,
That's
has
Bill.
a dead bird and 35% to his name. What can he do? Justin playing the laser game from center stage. So you gotta come to me. Shooting the gun, putting up the tilt. Wants to make this a nightmarish experience for Nicki. No fun. Back air, down air. And Justin takes his first game in this grand final.
That was surgical from Dark Gen X. Really good.
Nicki had come into the set hot, winning the first 2 games, but once again had struggled on Final Destination, where Dark Gen X had exploited Falco's ability to descend unpredictably onto the climbers. To counter this, Nicki realized that Pokemon Stadium and its shallow platforms could keep him safe from the falling pheasant, with the Ices still able to cover the platforms without needing to leave the ground.
I feel like I'm just getting full hop and double jump mixed up on, and I feel like I can never guess correctly, so let me go to a stage where I can probably avoid that a little bit better and play the mix-ups that I know I'm currently doing well in.
Playing to win, cause you're shooting for the big time, moving ahead, cutting loose and double overtime, scoring the top, time to turn up the heat. Got a pass back jump shot, ain't nobody gonna be bringing them down. Just you to go, taking one by one, gonna let them know. Work the ball, looks like you got them beat. Now clear the court, these guys are gonna melt down.
Any aerial kills or back air up air. Yes. Go by. Walk in, Nicki. Saying, all right, I'm at high percent. Come to me. Oh my God! I think we're going to see a tech chase.
Okay, that one surely. Okay.
All right, after a few close calls, 3 strikes, and you are out. We are moving on to our grand finals reset.
With yet another 3-1 victory, Nicki had now reset the bracket, putting Dark Gen X into losers and forcing a second set of grand finals, where Dark Gen X would have one more chance to prevent the Giant Ices from claiming victory. Falco had faltered in the first set, so the top-tier Peach would be pulled into the fray.
Nicki said, I can still cheese this. Good down smash, though. F-throw. Can't spend time on Nana. Things like grabbing Nana are so bad.
That's a kill too, yeah.
Dark Gen X's change in character would not stop set 2 of Grand Finals from looking a lot like the first, with the players' ice climbers using their increased size to protect themselves from their opponent's descent. Still, this second set would be a fight.
Ash was trying to happen
God,
there.
is he dead?
He might, yeah, walk up.
Up smash is gonna kill.
Yeah, you got some insane combos against me where I just got taken across the entire stage, like you would expect in regular size melee. It's incredible. There are a lot of really cool moments in those sets of just people getting messed up.
Oh my God!
Nicki would drop the second game after eating some devastating down smashes and edge guards.
Down smash will take it.
But he would then take advantage of Pokemon Stadium against Peach, much the same way he had against Falco.
Eat this!
Oh, the projectile game. Nicki's down to play it, and Nicki's down to take that stock with it. Turn-ups are gonna take out both the side B. Okay. Oh, almost gonna take the down smash. Gonna help bounce off the
Okay, huge. Really good positioning for handoff, yeah.
that is a clean stock from Nicki.
I have a random person on my screen right now.
We get sent phase.
Well, we're in
3.
a bad time.
The juggle continues.
Dash attack
That hit
cover
the side flat. That hit the side flat. Dead. Nicki is 1 game away.
I went up 2-1 against the Peach, and then we went back to Falco to try that out.
Oh no!
You're fine.
No, you're not.
Down smash though. You roll in, you go 10 miles. Down smash hits beneath the side flat. Up tilt. Fair.
Wait,
up
what
smash.
is this combo?
Back dashing. You can see it in the corner, but it will not be enough.
This is crazy. I mean, for the amount of like work and good movement that Darkgenix is putting in, all it takes is one grab.
Nana with the dash attack there. You know what?
Nana's just working in overtime, dude. This is crazy.
And now Nicki defending Nana. They're protecting each other. That one's so slow.
Yeah. Again, Darkgenix is letting these F smashes rip, and usually it's hitting the Nana, which means Nicki just gets a free grab now.
Nicki is one stock away from being your giant melee champion. Darkgenix, though, no stranger to a comeback.
Is so massive now, and you can tell. Look at this.
Back throw hitting the shine. Now he's got it back there. Back there, chains. Triple shine, not gonna kill. And the second one's gonna dodge. Grabbing Nana. Nana has Randall to survive, though, which is bad.
Sends down. Okay, this is getting real. This is real bad. Yeah.
The whole platform.
Because now we're at percent where anything can just KO. That's gonna do
your
it.
Giant melee champion, ranked mode's own Nicki.
One for the villains, baby. One for the villains. Darkgenix. What a good showing, but not going to be in the cards. Collision 2024.
So it was that with 2 consecutive 3-1 victories, another Giant Melee trophy had been snatched from the hands of New Jersey. Through a series of clever adaptations, Nicki had shown just how strong the Ice Climbers could look in Giant Melee, beating the event's top seeds on the way to a grand final sweep. Perhaps this would ultimately just be a bullet point in the list of things this player has achieved in Melee, even at Collision, where he would the following day find wins over ossify and J-Flex and lose a tight Game 5 against Melee's number 2 player Zane in Collision's singles bracket.
Yeah? It's gonna be hard to...
Oh, never mind. The big dog.
Despite that, Nicki would treat his Giant Melee achievements with reverence, knowing that he had done something few players in Melee, even great ones, are often able to do: change the game.
Something that's gone around in Melee recently was the phrase "make your own roadshow." I know the cheat says it a lot, and the whole idea of that is just like create content, create culture, like it's on the people, like the next generation of Melee players create the culture for the future generation of Melee players. A lot of modern Melee, at least like up until a certain point, a lot of players who are getting very good and learning at the game, they're copying top players and not really innovating for themselves. There's not a lot of players who really like lab Melee in a similar sense to how top players lab Street Fighter. In a sense, Giant Melee was unexplored territory that we just happened to discover. And it was very fun learning all these chain grabs that people could do, discovering neutral. Like, the discovery is why we just happened to land on Giant Melee.
Since Collision 2024, Giant Melee has remained an obscure part of the competitive scene. And its next truly important tournament, if you consider any of this important, will likely be if and when Collision returns. But there's been more activity in the mode still. Just recently, I bumped into footage of this Giant Melee side bracket from North Carolina. And even more recently, Nicki hosted Giant Melee's biggest ever German bracket. But what's all of this good for? Why, after all this time, should we care about Giant Melee? When I first started this project, I had a conversation with Rishi, a high-level player who has also made a notable impact on the Melee scene through his writing. In one of Rishi's videos, he goes over the Melee rule set and how it exists and can change through the understanding that the rule sets we create promote the values that we want to see in game.
Competitive games are a measure of skills that the game's players have determined to be laudable or worth measuring. We'll call these valued skills. This principle applies to all competitive games, not just esports. Chess measures positioning, calculation, and attacking and defending with your arsenal of pieces. Darts measures your ability to throw a dart at a board with both accuracy and precision. Baseball measures pitching, hitting, fielding, and running. It's tricky to nail down exactly what a game's valued skills are in so many words, but quite easy to say what a game's valued skills are not.
Through examining his values, Rishi created Jungle Jam, a mode based around the typically banned stage Congo Jungle, that he believed would do a better job of promoting the skills that people value in Melee. With Rishi's methodology in mind, when I did my interviews for this piece, I was keen to ask my participants what values they felt Giant Melee promoted. And for a time, my answer to this question was pessimistic. Giant Melee promotes spamming down smash, knowledge checks, and, well, picking up broken top tier even if they're not your favorite. But maybe I was being reductive. maybe at least in this stage in its metagame, the thing Giant Melee brackets reward is capacity for growth. The ability to synthesize new information and new spins on familiar things. The ability to break and rebuild habits around a new paradigm. Maybe in time, a metagame will stabilize around Giant Melee. And this will change. But for now, the mode has a lot of room to grow. And I, for one, find that exciting.
I feel like it's kind of similar to competitive Melee in like 2001, 2002, where people would have like their own little metagames develop within the people they're playing with. And then, eventually these people would come together and then, new information would come in and new strategies would be shown. And that is what would be cool to see in the long run, is like people playing it from time to time locally and like figuring out their own stuff, and then seeing it all come together on a big stage and, having that information then spread from there. When I was talking to Dark Genix and Miffy yesterday, they were talking about like how Peach is very like the most common character, but isn't winning as many tournaments as one would expect. The biggest tournaments, like we've seen a Yoshi win, which like no one really knows what Yoshi is in that mode and if he's actually good or not. Yeah, it seems like other characters seem to be doing quite well, and like I'm most interested in like the meta, like what characters are thought to be good, what changes do we see that like make us secure those opinions, and what makes us doubt those opinions, and like what are the actual results looking like? Just anything that tells a story of this game mode, like an ongoing story that people know they can join in on if they just start playing it.
Brings a tear to my eye, Toe. I feel like there's so much more Melee to be played.
I love that.
I hope that stands the test of time as a saying.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. This one ended up being bigger than I expected. I started pre-production on it like last summer, so I'm glad we're finally getting it out the gate. I just hope you don't mind me covering such a heavy topic this time around. Thanks so much to Nicki, Dark Genix, Miffy, Preeminent, and YCZ in particular for helping answer my questions in this video, as well as thanks to Rishi for that last bit, and aMSa for actually answering some of my questions on his stream. This video also has a lot of footage from Miffy, YCZ, Dark Genix, and from the Collision bracket, so big thanks to them. Also, of course, big thanks to all my supporters. If you like this video, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and please send me cash. I have a Ko-fi page, which is the best way to support the channel if you're able. I upload some exclusive material there for backers, and videos will come out there early in general too. Okay, so now we're moving to the other side of the call to action here. If you want to play Giant Melee online, I'm gonna link the freaking Giant Melee Discord below. And you can go there, and you can join, and you can play with people. I'll also go ahead and just include the code, so if you just want to play with your friends online, you can do that as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you right now. I'm excited to see how the metagame for Giant Melee evolves as we move forward, which we always do, because time does that. Do you guys know I'm going to be 30 soon?